Hey everybody, welcome to the latest episode of HeartSlayers. We are back for our first episode ever in the new Mega 64 studios. How about that? Meg unfortunately couldn't join me today, so you're just here with me, the HeartSlayer, Derrick Acosta. We're going to be taking calls, answering emails, helping everybody sort out their issues. So, without further ado, let's get it started. Okay everybody, we're going to be starting today with an email, and this email comes from a person who goes by the letter S. And it reads, Dear HeartSlayers, so I just started using Tinder for the first time last week and just recently hit it off with a girl. We've been talking about going out to a restaurant we both like to meet up for the first time, but the only problem is I don't have a car at the moment. I usually have to use the family car, but that's only to go to and from work. Is it bad that I might have to Uber there, or even worse, have her pick me up? Is this a bad way to start a date, or am I looking too much into it? Thanks, S. Thank you for your email, S. I definitely understand your concern. You're going out on a first date. You want to make a good impression, but unfortunately, you don't have a car. It sounds by your email maybe that you're a little bit embarrassed about the fact that you don't have a car, and you're concerned that it might come across wrong to the girl. You know, like your date might be thinking, what's wrong with this guy? Did he not afford a car? Did something happen to him to, put him in destitute times? But you know what? Listening to your situation, I actually don't think it's that big of a deal that you don't have a car. You know what? This is 2018. Uber is huge. Lyft is huge. Not having a car is actually very fashionable these days, if you ask me. There's so much concern about saving money or hurting the environment that I know a lot of people who have a car that just choose not to use it. And Ubering really is not that big of a deal when you're going out. A lot of people go out and have drinks, and it's actually more responsible not to drive yourself out for the evening. So in regards to your date, I don't think it's that big of a deal if you show up at her house in an Uber and you guys Uber it to wherever you're going. Or, quite frankly, you could just have your date meet you at whatever restaurant or place you're going to on your date. Sometimes when you're going out on a first date with somebody, it's a little bit more casual if you don't have them coming straight to your house, right? You're still kind of getting to know the person. Maybe you don't want to give them too much information about yourself. And so it's easier sometimes just to meet at a satellite destination as opposed to, coming over to my house. You're going to meet my roommates or my parents. So I would say don't worry about it. Think about just meeting your date at the restaurant. But if you have to Uber it, there's no shame in that. Lots of people do it. And frankly, you don't really need to go too much into an explanation as to why you don't have a car. It's not that big of a deal. So thanks for your email, and good luck. Okay, everybody, moving right along, we're going to get into another email here. This one has to do with a little bit of baby mama drama, and this one comes from a viewer who goes by the letter N, and it reads, Hi, HeartSlayers. I will start with the beginning. Sorry for the long story. I'll try to summarize my points. I'm currently 19 years old. And I met a girl this summer before my senior year of high school. She and I had similar interests, and she was a very pretty girl. Things were going very well the first few months of dating. However, things went bad when I found out she had been pregnant with a baby that wasn't mine. A one-night stand with an older man had left her this way, and she wanted no involvement with him whatsoever. Despite this, I stayed with her, and the baby was born on January 2017. I continued dating her against what my family and friends had told me. They had advised not to, but she had told me that the baby wasn't my responsibility. I was naive and I went along with this idea. But as of the past 6 months or so, she has been referring to me as Dad and wanted me to father her child. I still went along, but never showed true affection toward her child. Then, as of this January, she confronted me about not being a proper father to her child. I decided that her and I wanted different things in life, and we are currently going through a breakup. I don't have a lot of friends, and this is my first major breakup. Was I in the wrong? Was she in the wrong? How should I handle this situation, and how do I move on from this traumatic experience? Thanks, N. Wow, what a story. So, from what I gather, you started dating this girl that you liked, that you met while you were still in high school. It's not clear from your email if the one-night stand she had with an older man happened during the time that you guys were dating, or if you were just getting to know each other. But at some point, she got pregnant and then had a baby in January of last year. Sounds like you dated her for a full year, and then over the course of that, never really got into the role of being a dad, and now you guys are going through a breakup. Who is in the wrong? Is it her or is it you? In my opinion, just based on what you told me, I think that I agree with your friends and family in saying that, and perhaps you were a little bit naive in getting into this relationship. I don't blame this girl for telling you that she doesn't expect you to have any responsibility with raising her child, because naturally, what else would a new mom tell her current boyfriend when she's getting into this situation? She doesn't want to scare you away by saying, hey, I'm pregnant and I expect you to help me out and be in this father figure role, even though this is not your child. At 19 years old, that's a huge commitment. And I think that's something that would scare away any guy that was getting into the situation that you were getting into. But I think that on your side, you should maybe have a little bit of foresight and think about the big picture of what's going on with a new mom. Obviously, this baby is going to naturally crave a father figure in its life, and this girl is going to want to provide that for her child. So even though she said she didn't expect you to play the role of the father, it was inevitable that you would be put into that role just in being in the kid's life. I mean, you're the only adult that this kid has ever experienced. So I think the expectation is kind of unsaid, that if you're going to be dating a girl who has just had a baby and you guys are planning on having a serious relationship, it's definitely going to fall on your shoulders to be somewhat of a father figure. Now, you say you showed no affection to the child. I think that may be a little bit harsh. Honestly, you're dating this girl. She has a baby that's under the age of 1. She's obviously going to need a lot of help with raising that child. And she's going to expect whoever she's with to not shun her kid, make her feel bad, and make her feel like she shouldn't have a baby. So if that is not a role that you are willing to play, you got to get out of there. And that sounds like exactly what happened. So I don't think it's worth playing the blame game to say you were wrong or she was wrong. I just feel like the relationship didn't work out. And that is what happens when you are dating somebody, especially when you're 19 years old, when you're still so young and you're trying to figure out who you are and where you're going in life. I don't think the expectation is that whatever relationship you get into is necessarily guaranteed to work out. So when you're dating people, you get to know them, you see if you click. If it doesn't work out, if it's not what you want in life, you have to split up. That's what it sounds like happened in this situation. So I wouldn't be too hard on yourself. I wouldn't blame her for making you feel like she wanted you to be a dad. I wouldn't blame you for not wanting to be in that role. People want different things in life. Obviously, when you have a kid, things change in your life and you have to really focus on taking care of somebody else now. That's a huge commitment. That's not something everybody wants in life. That's especially not something everybody wants so early in life at 19 years old. So no hard feelings. I would say try not to dwell too much on this relationship. You dated her for a year. It didn't work out. You know what they say? A lot of times your friends and family know you better than you know yourself. So next time you're in a situation and everybody you know is sending up a red flag, I would think twice about what they're trying to tell you. And yeah, don't kid yourself. Having a kid is a big responsibility. So if you're going to date somebody with a kid, be prepared to be involved in that kid's life. So thanks for the email. As always, hope that helped. Good luck. Yo, everybody. Hey, we're back here with Steven. Thanks for calling up, Steven. What's happening?
Hey, Derek. Happy to be here. Basically, what I'm calling about is I've been thinking about getting into the online dating scene. Never really done that before. Okay. Kind of whenever dated, just done the traditional. You meet someone, friends for a bit, notice stuff. But living out in LA, it's kind of harder to do that when everybody kind of works in the same industry as you. I feel like I'm always putting someone in like oh, they might be good to network with category when I meet a girl. So I don't know. I'm thinking, maybe going into online dating where we both know that's what's on the table might be a good way to get back into that scene. But I'm not really sure what mindset, I guess, is the best way to go about that question. Like, what's the best mindset to go into with online dating? And I'm thinking more of like Match.com type stuff, not really the swipe right Tinder kind of thing.
Okay, sure. So are you looking for like a long-term relationship?
Yeah, and that's also part of the mindset. I don't want to go in being like, all right, I want this to work. I want this to be like, months down the line.
Yeah, sure.
That's not, you don't want to go in with that, but
no, you definitely, you want to keep it light. You want to keep it fun, right?
Right.
So you say like usually you go with traditional, meeting people out in public style dating, but what do you mean? Like, what are you in the entertainment industry out there in LA? Say everybody's in the same industry as you.
Yeah, that's the industry. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And you haven't been able to meet anybody who doesn't work in that industry?
I do occasionally, but it's usually in passing, or just like radar doesn't go off, I guess. I've gone on a couple dates with like people in the industry, but again, it goes into that like, oh, let me just sort you over here.
Oh, really? It doesn't. Yeah. Well, you don't find that like it helps having something in common with these people that you're dating, like stuff to talk about and just like kind of being on the same life path a little bit?
It does, but I find like a lot of the time, eventually it does turn into like, oh, hey, well, let's work on something together. All right. And then I start thinking like, okay, well, I can't mix emotions here. I need this whatever project to be the best it can be. And I start going into like this work mode of like, all right, we got to like get everything on paper here. And
okay.
I just go into that kind of mode.
Honestly, listening to the stuff you're saying, my concern would be that even when you go into the world of online dating, you're still going to be dating people who live relatively close to you. So I don't think there's any guarantee necessarily that you're going to meet people that aren't in the same industry that you are. You might have the same problem even in the world of online dating,
Okay.
So,
think about that, yeah.
I think online dating, honestly, is real similar to just regular dating, but the pool of people to meet is a lot bigger. And you kind of remove that barrier of, when you're out in public, you never know, like, are these people interested in meeting a guy or are they just here to have fun, right? Yeah. When you go to the world of online dating, everybody's there for the same reason. They're all there like, the elephant is out of the room. We're here to find a date. So I guess in that sense, it's a little bit easier to find somebody, but I kind of go either way. I've heard this classic joke about online dating and the odds of finding a match for yourself. And it says, the odds are good, but the goods are odd. You know what I mean? You're probably going to get a date, but it might not be, what you're looking for. Because honestly, a lot of people use online dating to, what am I trying to say? Kind of hide their awkwardness about them, or there may be things that have stopped them from making a connection out in the real world. The ability to just meet somebody and strike up a connection. There might just be something weird about the person, and that's why they've resorted to online dating, where they can kind of date from afar and stay a little bit anonymous. So, I guess what I'm getting at is that the potential for awkward dates is higher even though the potential for getting dates is higher, the potential for getting bad dates also goes up too. So I think the real issue here is maybe figuring out a way to be able to date somebody within your own industry and not have it kind of conflict with this business or pleasure back and forth that you seem to have, you know? Steven, maybe when you meet somebody, either through online dating or in person, you can kind of joke about like, oh, we're both in the same industry. Well, I have a rule. I never work on a project with somebody that I'm dating, you know, and get that out of the way right up front. That way you kind of avoid this mental conflict of, do I want to develop a professional relationship with this person, or do I want to develop a personal relationship with this person? But I guess to, you know, get specifically into your question, which is what is the good mindset for online dating? I think, you know, obviously you're looking for something serious, but you don't want to go in with that right up front. You don't want to scare people away. You might project out there like, I'm looking for something serious, and then you get responses from people who are even more serious than you are. You know, you don't even get a chance to meet them and get to know them and decide if you really like them before the person is like, well, you said you wanted a long-term relationship, so I'm planning on getting married in 6 months, you know?
Oh, geez.
Yeah,
No,
you definitely don't want that. So, you know, I think go into it with the lighthearted spirit of hopefully this will work out, but I'm totally okay if it doesn't. And, you know, you're just looking to make a connection with somebody, meet somebody, have a good time with them, and see if you guys hit it off. So I think you're definitely going to be sharing up front what you do for a living. And you know, when you meet the person, when you're getting to know the person, whoever they are, whether you're dating out in public or through a website or online thing, I would be honest with them about some of your concerns that you've had with people you've met in the past. Like, you know, I seem to date a lot of people who are in the same industry as me. And the same thing you told me, like, I tend to, you know, not know if I should network with them or pursue something. And you guys could probably establish early on, like, okay, we don't want to have that conflict. So let's only develop the personal side of this relationship and leave talking about movies and entertainments and working together. Let's leave that out of the conversation for a little while.
Right.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
As far as like Match.com or eHarmony or whatever, I don't really know. I don't have a suggestion as to which one to use.
Yeah, same. I don't know if any, like, I think most people my age are, again, more on the Tinder thing, but again, that's not as much for me.
You know what? I say go all in. Sign up for all of them.
Everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hit, you know, spread your wings far and wide and cast the net out there. See what you get.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll do that.
All right. Thanks for the call, Steven.
Thanks for having me. Take care.
Take it easy. Good luck. Yo, everybody. We're back here with Elmo Scissorhands. Thanks for calling us, Elmo Scissorhands. What's up?
Hey there. Just calling in because I wanted to get some advice here on how you just want to know how you would approach someone you look up to, like a celebrity or like a higher up. I actually saw you guys at EXPCon, and I was kind of nervous. I didn't want to do the wrong way, but you know that kind of stopped me from approaching you as. But anyways, just feedback on that.
Okay, yeah, definitely. How do you approach a celebrity or somebody you look up to? I actually have great insight on this. I'm glad you called me because I have been approached so many times by very many Mega 64 fans, and some of them have had more success in getting my attention than others. So I can give you a couple tips of what I look for when somebody's trying to strike up a conversation with me, all right? You ready for this?
Sure.
So first of all, I just, you just have to keep in mind that whoever you're approaching, whether they're a celebrity or, a boss or somebody you look up to, they're just a regular person just like you, okay? They wake up in the morning, brush their teeth, put their pants on, go to work, and, the number one thing I could recommend is just try your hardest not to get starstruck. And I know sometimes it's easier said than done. I've even been starstruck when I've met people that I look up to. And, you know so much about this person and you want them to like you, obviously. And you just get nervous, like, oh, I want to put my best foot forward. But you just got to remember that they're just a regular person and they don't know you from anybody else that they've met that day. And they've probably met a lot of people that day. So I think the first thing to do is try not to go in with too much of an assumed familiarity. I think a lot of times people watch a lot of videos of people online or they have a celebrity that they followed for a while, so they know a lot about them and they feel like, I know this person's sense of humor, I'm on the same page as this person, and a lot of times, even with me and Mega 64, people will come up doing some sort of like joke or bit or trying to like, because they know that we're comedy guys and we do sketch comedy and they want to come up and try to be funny with us. But honestly, for Mega 64, we kind of do comedy in our videos. And then when we're at a booth at a convention, you're getting the real Mega 64. We're just a couple of guys hanging out. Like, we want to talk about movies and videos and fun stuff. You don't need to come up and start cracking jokes with us. So I think I've said on the podcast too in the past, the best thing people can come up to do is, bring up something that maybe they know we like or something that we've done that they like and just be real cool and low-key about it. Be like, hey, I saw this video you guys made. It's my favorite video. Good job. I think you guys are really funny and you're doing good work. And just kind of leave it at that. Just kind of say something that makes it real easy for us to respond to with just like, yeah, cool, man, thanks. And then from there, like, we could pick up the conversation. Because any person, just regular person, if you give them just a nice, cool, casual compliment or some topic to talk about, naturally they'll just respond with, cool, yeah, thanks. And they don't want to be awkward, so the conversation is struck up at that point, if you know what I mean.
Right, I follow you. Yeah. I mean, with you guys, I kind of wish you were there too, but I really wanted to strike up a conversation about, at that time, Star Wars hadn't come out. So I don't know. I want to bring up something. You guys are awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, I always love when, honestly, I find it real flattering when somebody comes up and they have a specific video that they like and they just want to talk about that or give me props to that. Again, whenever people come up doing some sort of comedy bit or being awkward, it's just, for me as a person, I don't know how to respond to that because I've never met that person. I don't know their sense of humor, so I don't know what they're doing or what they expect from me. So a lot of times it's kind of just like, okay. And then I've read, it's funny because people come up and they do these bits with us and then we are awkward or, make fun of them because we just don't know how else to respond. And then later on, I'll see them write online and they have all this remorse of like, why did I do that? I embarrassed myself. And it's like, yeah, just try not to put yourself in that position. Just remember, like, we're regular dudes. Just approach us like you'd approach somebody at school that, you just met in class and you think is cool. And really, it's the same thing. I feel like when you're meeting celebrities or when you're talking to a boss or somebody higher up at a job or something, the key is to just be cool, be approachable, and try not to put them too much on a pedestal. Just keep it friendly, keep it light, and they'll probably respond really well to you.
All right. Any tips for any icebreakers?
Any tips for any icebreakers? Yeah, honestly, just, yo, man, I like what you do. I think it's really cool, and yeah, keep on doing it. I think any celebrity, I put celebrity in quotes because I don't even consider Mega 64 real celebrities, but I feel like any person you would meet who's a creative person who's putting their stuff out there would love to hear that. And, obviously they know a lot about what they've created because it's what they spend the most time doing. So it's a subject that they have a lot to talk about. So if you show a little bit of interest in it, they'll probably at least give you a thank you. And if you have any questions about some stuff they've made, cool. And, I think it's a lot easier to strike up a conversation than you would think. Just don't get too wrapped up in your own head about it before it happens, and try not to make it awkward, and you'll see a good response from a lot of people.
All right. Well, I definitely appreciate the advice. Thank you, Derrick.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for calling, Elmo Scissorhands. All right, everybody, we're back here with another email. This one comes from a person named Corey B, and it says, "Hi, HeartSlayers. My name is Corey B, and I'm 23. My last relationship lasted about 6 to 7 months. See, I met her at a Domino's where we worked together. When I finally got the courage to give her my number and tell her that I wanted to ask her out, things were great. But then I find out that she was dating somebody. I was fine with that, and I was going to move on, honestly. But then she wanted to see me because she said she didn't love her boyfriend. She always talked to me about leaving him for me when the time was right. Well, fast forward now to the end of our relationship. She says she felt bad about dating me the whole time. She wanted to try and make things work with her boyfriend. But I still love her. I mean, she says she doesn't want anything to do with me. I still love her, but she blocked me on Facebook and on the phone. So my question is, how do you move forward when you still love somebody who doesn't love you back? I've been trying to get back in the dating scene, but I can't stop thinking about her all the time. Thanks, guys. Corey. Wow, Corey, first of all, thank you for this email. You know, I feel like this is a common issue that we're always hearing about on this show. People are calling us up or emailing us and telling us, hey, I just met this girl, but she's dating another guy. We seem to really be hitting it off, but she has a boyfriend, or she just recently broke up with her boyfriend. But she's telling me she wants to be with me. She wants to leave her boyfriend for me, or, you know, we want to get together. What do I do? And what I appreciate about this email so much is that you were coming to us on the other end of the relationship. You've already gone through the whole situation, and now you have your relationship has hit this pitfall that we are always warning people about on the show, which is, you know, when you meet somebody and they are currently dating someone, or they've just recently gotten out of a relationship, it's hard to separate yourself emotionally from that past relationship. It takes some time. No matter what you think or what that person says or what they say they think about that relationship, you know, oh, I don't love my boyfriend. Oh, he treats me bad. I don't want to be with him. They may say that. But once they end that relationship and have a little bit of time away from that person, they find time and again, almost, I would say 90% of the time, they find that there's still some sort of attraction there. There's still some sort of confusion. They still have these emotional ties to that person. It takes some time to get rid of those strings, you know. I feel like a good rule of thumb is, for however long the relationship was, it takes at least half that amount of time to get over the relationship. If you were dating somebody for a year and you break up, it's probably going to take about 6 months before you are totally over that person. If you were dating them for a week, it's probably going to take about 3 days to be okay with the relationship being over. If you were dating them for 2 months, it's going to take 30 days to get over the relationship. So the more serious a relationship is that person has, the more serious their relationship is, the harder it's going to be for them to really commit to you in this new relationship. So this is something we're always telling people on this show. When they call us up and they say, hey, I like this girl, but she has a boyfriend. She says she wants to leave her boyfriend for me. Should I date her? We always say, probably not. Or if you're going to date her, make her break up with her boyfriend by herself, regardless of you in the picture. She can't be leaving that guy for you. She needs to leave that guy because she wants to leave that guy. Then she's going to need some time by herself to put that relationship to bed. You know, let her figure herself out. And I know when you like a girl and she's on the market, you know, suddenly after being taken for so long, now she's single, you have this fear or this anxiety or this pressure to like jump into a relationship because you're thinking like, oh, I like her, she likes me, I don't want to blow this. I don't want to make her think that I don't like her. I don't want her to meet some other person and date them instead of me. But that's a risk you need to take. Honestly, for everybody out there watching, if you're in that situation, you can't rush it. You need to give that person some time. If they really like you, if the relationship is meant to be with you, like they said, they will wait for you, okay? They will not meet another person. They will have enough respect for you to let themselves really detach from the last relationship, okay? If they are the type of person who is a bad dater because they jump around from significant other to significant other, if they have a, you know, guys do this too. A guy might have a girlfriend and then he meets a new girl and he immediately breaks up with that girl and goes with the new girl. That doesn't really, you know, that's not the sign of a good dater. That's not somebody who has enough respect for the person they're with to see that relationship through, either to make it work or have the decency to end that relationship without getting somebody else involved, okay? Because you're kind of getting into a love triangle at that point when you're jumping from person to person to person. And love triangles are not fun. And oftentimes they lead to drama, Corey, just like what you're describing, where, oh, I have these lasting feelings for this other person, and now you're wrapped up emotionally with me, but I'm emotionally unavailable because I'm wrapped up with this other person. You totally want to try your best to avoid those situations. Now, Corey, for you specifically, you've already kind of gotten involved with this girl, and now you're in the situation where you're kind of heartbroken and you don't know what to do. My advice for you is kind of the same thing I was saying about before you date somebody like that. You've just gotten out of a relationship now that you were in for about 6 or 7 months. You need to give yourself at least 3 or 4 months until you start expecting to feel better. So basically what I'm saying is it's going to take some time, obviously, to mend a broken heart. Okay, so I don't know how long ago you broke up with this girl, but if it's only been a few weeks, if it's only been 1 or 2 months, it's normal to still feel hurt. It's normal to not feel ready to date another person, okay? Because you're still thinking about that last girl. You need to give yourself time to separate emotionally from that relationship. I think it's important to just remember the relationship didn't work out. Honestly, she's not the right person for you, okay? She didn't treat you well. She left you to go back with her ex-boyfriend. So she was either stringing him along or stringing you along. No matter how pretty she is or how cool she seemed, she didn't handle the relationship well. She burned you, basically. You don't want to be with somebody who's going to burn you, okay? Usually, if somebody burns you once, they will burn you again. It takes a long time for a person to mature when you're in that situation. And it's hard to mend the feelings when you've burned somebody. You can learn from that mistake, but it's hard to kind of mend a relationship with that specific person. So maybe down the line, she will change the way she approaches relationships, but I don't see her changing for you right now in this situation. So just know that she's not the right person for you. The right person for you is probably out there looking for you right now. Somebody who is even more beautiful, has even more in common with you. Okay, she's even more perfect for you and somebody you want to date. You have to make yourself available to find that person. So take some time. Give yourself at least 3 months of being single, learning how to enjoy life again, learning how to enjoy your own company. And once you get back to being a happy, healthy person and you're emotionally stable and you're not pining for this other girl, then you'll be ready to meet somebody new. You're not going to be able to get into a good new relationship if you're still thinking about that old one. If you're still heartbroken, you're not going to be the best boyfriend or best, new date for somebody else out there. So work on yourself, and then once you get stable and happy again, you'll be ready to meet somebody new, and you'll be ready for a new awesome relationship. And I guarantee you, when you do get to that point, you're not going to be thinking about this old relationship. You're not even going to be worrying about this girl anymore. So the sooner you can get to that point, the better. So just try to focus mentally on letting go of that old stuff and moving forward. Thanks for the email, Corey. Really appreciate it. And as always, good luck. All right, everybody, we're back here with another email, and this one reads, Dear HeartSlayers, I was seeing this girl the last 2 months after being just friends for about 1 year. We shared a lot in common. We do the same charity and fundraising events. While her personal issues come into play, past issues with depression and her last and only serious relationship ending with being cheated on, I hung in there. I also have had issues recently about long-distance relationships, one that lasted more than 2 years, which ended tragically on my behalf. We were seeing each other frequently and going out on dates, which ended with making out a lot. But then she pulled the brakes and wanted to take things slow. So I respected her wishes, and we continued to hang out. Showing the ultimate gesture of my appreciation of her, I got her a Christmas gift. Although it was the wrong size, I had a replacement on the way. She later told me someone else got her the same gift. I got jealous and angry because she didn't deny that gift when she had already got it from me. She didn't like how I responded, so she ended the relationship. After bouts back and forth on her giving me another chance, her New Year's resolution was to better herself, and that includes not giving anyone a shot. She wants a friend and knows how I feel. So my question is it better to just wait for her to come around, or should I cut my losses? I really like this girl, and my natural instinct is to cut all ties and walk away, but she wants me to stay. Love what both of you do. Thanks for reading my email. Confused in SoCal. All right, Confused. Thank you for reaching out to the HeartSlayers. So, to sum up your situation, you were friends with this girl for a whole year. You really like her. You think she's cool. You have a lot in common. But then for the last 2 months, you guys have been going out on dates, making out, moving forward. She didn't really feel comfortable with it, so she said she wanted to slow down. In the ultimate gesture of appreciation, you give her a Christmas gift, but then she gets the same gift from another guy. You get jealous, and she says, you know what? I don't want to date you. Then later on, about a month later, she says, I don't really want to date anybody. So now your question is, should you cut her off, or should you remain friends with her? So what I want to say, Confused in SoCal, is you were friends with her for a whole year. You say you really like her. You know, why can't you guys go back to being friends? It sounds like from your email that she is not interested in dating you. I'm sorry. But just to be frank, she gave you a chance. You guys took it from a friendship to a relationship. It sounds like she wasn't feeling it. Now, she has issues maybe from her past relationship. You have issues maybe from your past relationship. So you guys both may not be in a good space mentally to even be dating each other. You may just be lonely. You may just be rebounding onto each other. And that's not a good foundation for a relationship. So perhaps she has recognized that. I don't know if you have recognized that yet in your own relationship. But based on what you guys told me, it sounded like it just wasn't working out. So I know what it's like when you really like a girl and she doesn't want to date you, and it just, you know, it hurts to be around her because you like her so much and you want to date her, but she's just not interested, and it kind of breaks you up inside. If you are feeling that way, you are not obligated to spend time with her. You know, you guys don't need to go grab a bite to eat or go to the movies if it's really going to upset you emotionally. But I think if you were really, truly friends with this person, then having an expectation of her dating you is a little bit unrealistic for a friendship, okay? Just because you guys were friends and you developed a crush on her doesn't mean she's obligated to reciprocate those feelings. She maybe thought that there was a potential there, but it seems like she has realized that's not what she wants. And as a friend, you should respect her enough to say, like, that's cool, okay? You don't have to date me. You shouldn't expect people to be required to date you. So, you know, sounds like you need some time, like you're a little bit broken up about this, heartbroken a little bit. You may need some time to feel better, to get back on your feet. But hopefully you can rebuild that relationship, that friendship with her if you want. I mean, you guys were friends for a year. For some people, that's a really long friendship. For other people, it's a short friendship. Some people are friends for 10 years. You know, so in the scope of I've known somebody for 12 months, it's not that long. I guess what I'm saying is you really need to think about, like, was I friends with this girl just because I wanted to date her and I was working towards that? Or was I friends with this person because I legitimately liked them? Regardless of whether they were going to date me or not, that's the kind of person I want to have in my life. You know, the people you're friends with, they kind of reflect back on you. They influence you, and, you know, you are basically an amalgamation of the company that you keep. So if you surround yourself with great, positive people who are doing cool things, who share the same interests as you, that's going to affect you as a person. So is this girl the type of friend that you want to have to affect you in that way? If so, I think you should make an effort to repair the friendship and not have an expectation of dating her. If she's not really that kind of person in your life, maybe you don't need to be friends with her. Maybe you need to find a girl to actually date, and, you know, when you do get a girlfriend, when you do get into a relationship, you might find that this friendship with this girl is actually not that important to you. I think those are things that you should reflect on and try to figure out for yourself. Sorry to hear that the relationship didn't work out. It sounds like this girl is actually pretty smart and pretty self-aware. If she had the decency to tell you, like, hey, I've thought about it, and, you know, new year, new me, I want to work on myself. I don't want to be bouncing between guys or pursuing relationships. You know, I just want to figure out who I am. That's cool. I honestly wish more people would be upfront and honest with the person that they're dating when they feel that way. So I think that's a really respectable thing that she did for you. I wouldn't try to have any hard feelings against her if I were you. You know, it would be a lot worse if she dated you and had these feelings like, I don't know if I want to be with this guy or not, and then she started dating other guys or cheating on you. Sounds like she didn't want to do that. She had enough respect for you to be honest with you, to protect your feelings. She didn't want to string you along or get you too involved with her when she wasn't feeling it. That's really respectable, man. So try not to be too hard on her. Try not to be angry with her. See the positive side of what she did for you. You know, it sounds like she might actually be a good friend for you. So really think about that stuff. It might be worth saving the friendship, but don't expect anything relationship-wise. She gave you a shot. That's pretty cool. That's really, I think you should be happy that that she did, and that she is willing to still be friends with you after the relationship didn't work out. You know, a lot of girls will go on a couple of dates with a guy, make out with them, decide they don't like him, and then they'll never want to see him again. So, you know, sounds like you might have something special there. May not be a romantic relationship, but platonic friendships can be really valuable too in a person's life. So think about that stuff, and I hope that helps. You know what? Send us an update too if you've thought about this, and you know, let us know how it all works out. Thanks for the email. Good luck. All right, everybody, that's our show for today. Thank you for watching. Hey, I want to give a big shout out to everybody who watches us on YouTube, on the Mega 64 Archives channel. I really appreciate whenever anybody has their own perspective on the issues we cover on this show, and they leave a comment in the comment section. And I know that some of the people who have called in or emailed us, they watch these episodes and they want to get your perspective as well. I read all the comments and I really appreciate it. So thank you for adding your input to this show. I also want to give a big thank you to everybody who supports us on Patreon. Patreon.com/Mega64. For just $1, you get to see these episodes 1 week early. If you want any updates on this show, or just to know what's going on in my life, you can follow me on Twitter @Gustafo. And even though she's not here, my lovely co-host, Meg, is available on Twitter @FurnaceWoods. We will be back in 2 weeks taking more calls every other Tuesday at 10 a.m. Pacific time. So until next time, take care of yourself. Thanks for watching, and bye-bye.